So guys, it is happening. Altcoins are starting to freaking blow up. The crypto markets and cryptocurrency is starting to gain a lot of traction. Huge events are taking place in the crypto markets, crypto news, lots of different moving parts, and it's causing, this huge effect, this huge movement. And if you're not taking advantage, you're going to miss out. There's been a whole bunch of points in this crypto bull run where there's times of consolidation and you have opportunity to buy. But right now is one of the biggest setups that we have seen throughout this 2024 crypto cycle. And I want to talk about it, exactly what you should be doing to take advantage of it. At the end of the day, I'm a beginner in the crypto space. I've made some crazy gains already, and I plan to make some crazier gains and document it all on this YouTube channel. But if you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. I'm just a beginner in the crypto space, showing you guys my wins, my losses, and everything else in between. But other than that, let's jump into it. So if we take a look at the charts right now, overall, there is a lot of green in the markets, mainly around meme coins. I've been talking about meme coins on this YouTube channel, how they're outperforming every other sector in the crypto markets. And overall, you are seeing the effect that all the crypto news and crypto events are having on the market. I'm in Brett, so I'm really happy to see that. But honestly, everything was higher at the beginning of the day, and we're honestly starting to see some pullback just because people have sell the news events mindset, and that's causing a lot of liquidations. But overall, we're really green compared to where we've been in the markets. And if you look at where Bitcoin is these past few months, we've pretty much been in that phase of consolidation like I've been talking about, and we're pretty much on the verge of that breakout. And we're going to be talking about Bitcoin reaching those all-time highs, and whenever we are pretty much on that verge and breaking and wanting to get out, there's only so many times we hit that before we see that huge breakout. And Bitcoin is pretty much on that verge already, where we're getting really close to breaking that consolidation. And I'm really interested to see what's going to be happening in the next few weeks. But let's talk about why Bitcoin is starting to blow up. So I'm sure you're aware, but if you're not, Donald Trump spoke at the 2024 Bitcoin conference, which was really bullish. Just a quick recap on his speech, just some main key points. On day one, he plans to fire Gary Gensler and appoint a new SEC chairman, which is really dope, really awesome. Everyone hurts Gary. He plans to create a U.S. government strategic national Bitcoin stockpile if elected, which is really crazy. The U.S. government will keep 100% of the Bitcoin it owns, which, we won't have a Germany fiasco going on in the U.S. Bitcoin is going to the moon, which was really funny. I think a lot of people were talking about that. Never sell your Bitcoin, of course, because, he has big plans for Bitcoin. Bitcoin will probably one day surpass the market cap of gold, which is really crazy. I saw a post talking about if, Bitcoin was to surpass the market cap of gold, the price it would be at. The top presidential candidate in the US talking like this, it's really crazy, especially being so close to the election. We keep on continuing. He says there will never be a CBDC while he is the president of the United States. A lot of people are worried about that. If you don't know what a CBDC is, I'll put it right here. Don't really want to jump into that. Let's keep on going. So Bitcoin is also not threatening the dollar. The current US government is threatening the dollar. So pretty much, how the US government is trying to fight Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, having the power of the people and all this other different stuff of the governments. He plans to have a system in place to, have them working together as opposed to fighting. He says the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet, Bitcoin superpower of the world. And with the US wanting to jump into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as much as it wants to, that has a lot of other nations wanting to also lead that way, because they don't want the US to, have full control and overall lead the space in cryptocurrency. And that's positive for us, just because all of these sovereign nations are going to start jumping into crypto. He says Bitcoin stands for freedom, sovereignty, and the independence from government control, which is, what people stand for in crypto. And lastly, he says he pledges to the Bitcoin community that the day he takes oath in office, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's anti-crypto crusade will be over. And this was huge for Bitcoin and overall cryptocurrency. Everything follows Bitcoin. So, whenever he talked about, the US government creating a strategic national Bitcoin stockpile if he's elected, that is amazing, just because the sovereign nation taking, action in Bitcoin, the amount of money that they would invest into Bitcoin, it would cause the price action of Bitcoin to go parabolic, which leads me into our next post. Great post from Merp. Just found Merp. Love his content. Overall, he just gives his perspective on what he thinks is going to be happening based off of the news going on in the crypto markets. Pretty much long form thoughts on plan for this week. He pretty much says just don't overthink it. A candidate with good odds at the presidency just announced plans to stockpile Bitcoin if elected. At 100% odds of a stockpile, what is the value of Bitcoin? 200,000, 250,000, 300,000. In the case this event has a 40 to 50% probability of happening, what is the value of Bitcoin? probably higher than 70%. You know, Bitcoin has been trading around that 70,000 mark for a few months now, and it's really crazy. We actually have been seeing some pullbacks all the way down to around 56,000. So, you know, Bitcoin is on the verge of blowing up, and something like this, the catalyst like this, the strongest future US presidential candidate, you know, talking about his moves for Bitcoin and what he plans to do, and overall just the sentiment in the market around that, combined with the Ethereum ETF inflows as well as the Bitcoin inflows, there's just a whole bunch of probability of Bitcoin, you know, breaking 100,000, if not even more. If we move on into his post, you know, he has the same thoughts overall pretty much for Bitcoin. High time frame chart on Bitcoin looks amazing, and price can only hit a top range so many times before it creates a new range. It's been hitting that 70,000 range, and it needs to break out. The fact that we're still early, post having adds further confluence to the possibility of an insane Bitcoin blow off the top sometime within the next 5 to 8 months. And you know, if you do that 5 to 8 months, you know, that leads into 2025, the beginning of 2025. So I want to talk about, you know, when we are going to see, you know, the peak of this crypto cycle, and you know, when you probably should be getting out. We honestly don't know. At the end of the day, you got to keep up with the news events going on in the crypto markets, what's going on in terms of, you know, the selling and liquidity in the markets, and from there just make an educated guess on what's going on. But that leads me into our next post. So by Faju, he talks about pretty much the golden catch-up trade is now complete. Bitcoin is nearing 70K. Just a couple weeks ago, we were at 57K, and it was the most offside I've ever seen crypto from the macro landscape. And I got ridiculously bulled up on the obvious golden catch-up trade, and was bound to happen once the Germany and Mt. Gox selling for digested. And in this market, you know, with my YouTube videos, I talk about how everything's up and then everything's down, and everything's up and everything's down. And it's just because, you know, whenever everything starts to actually happen, it goes super crazy. And you know, now he's talking about it's now time for the golden catch-up trade to pass the torch to the sovereign government. If the sovereign government, the US, you know, everything that the US government makes money off, you know, that's so much money going into the crypto markets. It's so crazy to even think about how much money is going to be going into it and how much liquidity we're going to have. You know, the price predictions that people have might not even be bullish enough, especially if, you know, we have a Republican Party win in the US presidential election. But you know, only time will tell. In terms of the peak of the market, I saw this great clip talking about, you know, whenever the last peak in the 2021 cycle, what we saw, you know, in terms of the sentiment and everything, and it's going to give you a good perspective on when we'll probably see that, you know, peak in this cycle. But let's go and just take a look at this real quick.
I mean, look, I'm not a huge crypto cycle guy, but if I just think about how we went through last cycle and looking at that Bitcoin dominance, the peak in sentiment was around when Elon started talking about putting Bitcoin on the Tesla balance sheet, and we had the Michael Saylor type of idea start to be well understood. And then that was basically corporates bringing Bitcoin onto their balance sheet. Right now, what we're speculating on is on the next cycle being sovereigns taking Bitcoin onto their balance sheet. So we're speculating on the US government having Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. So to me, it does feel like we're tracking where we're getting really close to that same moment last cycle where private companies getting Bitcoin on the balance sheet kind of marked that top in Bitcoin sentiment and rotation into alts. Feels like right now we're getting that, but this time it's on the sovereign level, which is awesome. I mean, we're seeing adoption happen in action through these adoption cycles.
Yeah, and you know, just pretty much seeing that, you know, I don't really have too much insight on the 2021, you know, peak market when everything happened, but seeing that, it was whenever Elon was talking about putting Bitcoin on Tesla's, you know, sheets, and everyone was like, oh crap, you know, a huge corporation taking advantage of this, how much money is going to be flowing into it. Now it's going to be a sovereign nation, the United States of America. It's crazy the GDP something like the United States have and how much money that they would put, you know, especially into reserves for Bitcoin for the United States. It gets mind-boggling around the price action that could be happening. Let's talk about when we'll probably see the peak, you know, of this bull run. If we jump into Red Capital, he talks about, you know, what's going on with the Bitcoin halving and, you know, the price action for Bitcoin and where we're at in this cycle. Overall, if you look at based off of where we're at from 2021 to this 2024 cycle, we're practically a little past the halfway mark. Still fresh, like how they talked about in the earlier post, you know, 5 to 8 months from, you know, Bitcoin, you know, blowing off the top. But these are all just guesstimations from previous price action and previous cycles. Everything is different though this current cycle, so you know, some of these predictions are a little bit different and some of them are actually, you know, on point and on key. So right now everyone's talking about when are we gonna have the huge Bitcoin breakout, and I honestly have been seeing, this great chart by Miles Dutcher talking about the global liquidity cycle. And apparently Bitcoin follows this global liquidity cycle more than any other chart, more than stocks, more than bonds, more than any other chart that, correlates to, how money is, running into everything. Now, this global liquidity cycle is showing how, based off of the market and how everything is seeing for Bitcoin, we should be seeing the peak of Bitcoin maybe in some time mid 2025. Now, like how we saw in the post with Merp, he's talking about how based off of this price action, he can see, Bitcoin popping off the top in that 5 to 8 months, which would put us, somewhere in February, March. And when it comes to these time predictions, it's really, really iffy. That's why it's good to just keep up with all the news events and everything that's taking place. But based off of all the news events, all the markets, all the charts and everything that's going on, we should be seeing a peak for the markets maybe at the end of 2024 moving into 2025. And honestly, based off of the global liquidity index, maybe mid 2025. And this should give you, some perspective that you're not late to the game. You can still buy coins. We've honestly been seeing some crazy run-ups, like how I've been talking about with the banter bubbles. Things are going up and things are going down. So it all varies depending on what you're invested in and where you're at in this crypto cycle. But currently right now is a time of accumulation. Everyone is starting to take advantage of what's going on, and you do not want to miss out on the potential that these altcoins have. I've never been here for a full crypto cycle. I've already made some crazy gains in March, but now I'm on the verge of wanting to make stupid gains, and I'm going to be looking out for that peak because it's going to be something really, really big. If you're not keeping up with all the news events, everything that's going on, especially with these catalysts that are currently taking place in the crypto markets, you're really going to miss out. These past 6 to 8 months, I've been keeping up with the crypto markets, keeping up with the news events, keeping up with the crypto sectors, and seeing exactly which projects are the best to jump into. I've been showing you guys updates with my crypto portfolio, my perspective on the space, and the ups and downs of everything. But whenever the crypto markets start to run, they're going to run fast like a freight train, and you are not going to be able to stop it. Most people are waiting for pullbacks. They want to make sure that they get in at a right price, but at the end of the day, we're going to be seeing some crazy price action moving into 2025, and no one can really determine when we're going to see that run. All we know is based off of previous cycles and what is currently taking place, altcoins are going to be freaking ripping. They are already ripping. They are already making a ton of money, and if you aren't positioning yourself, you're going to miss out. So guys, currently right now, those are all the news events that are currently taking place in the crypto markets. I'm really pumped to pretty much see what's going to be happening with my altcoin portfolio. I want to do some reallocations based off of pretty much what I'm seeing with a few of my positions. AI crypto is starting to pop off so crazy. I'm starting to think that I want to go all in on AI crypto. But like how I said, meme coins are really popping off in this sector, and there's a lot of different news events that are causing all these different pumps in multiple different ways. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated on everything that's going on in the crypto markets. Overall, there's a ton of positive sentiment, and we're pretty much reaching a state in the crypto markets where we're gonna start seeing that next phase where altcoins go stupid crazy. And when everyone makes the most money in the bull run is at the end of the stage of the phase of the cycle. It's never at the beginning, never at the middle. It's right at the end. It's like the climax of a movie, and it's not that long. So you got to keep an eye on the markets and figure out how you're going to take profits and all that. But I'm going to keep you guys updated on my crypto portfolio when I'm taking profits and all that stuff. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. I pretty much just drop daily content showing you guys my crypto portfolio, my perspective, my wins, my losses, and everything else in the crypto space. Overall, I plan to 10 to 20x my net worth in this crypto cycle, but I plan to document everything and show you guys. If you guys have any questions, suggestions, drop it down below. Drop me a comment, drop me a like, subscribe. I really appreciate all the support you guys are showing me on this channel. And if you guys have any questions or suggestions for content, drop it down below. I always want to make content that you guys want to see. But other than that, I'm going to wrap up right here. This is a longer video than usual. But yeah, crypto markets are starting to pop off, guys. And if you're not taking advantage, you're missing out. And if you're missing out, you're going to be kicking yourself in the ass in the next few months whenever everything is just parabolic. But guys, overall, I'll keep you updated. If you have any questions, drop it down below. Stay tuned. I drop daily content every day, so hopefully I see you tomorrow. Peace.